Also on our board of directors is Rose in the back there is our secretary. And at home, not with the coronavirus, but the flu, is our treasurer, Kelly. So we have some new people here. Thank you for signing in. If you haven't signed in already, please do. Sometime during this meeting, the restaurant will come around and bill us for however many heads they see. And we pay that bill at the end of the night. Once you've signed in 3 times, you'll get a club card, or sometimes a 4th or 5th time. You can see one if you don't have that. And that will get you discounts at various vendors. We got 10% off at Save On. Fishing Syndicate will get you some off. That amount changes. I have it written down 30, I think it's 20. 10% off at LP, $20 off at Brook 55, and 10% of our good friend Martin in the back there. We have some upcoming trips that you probably heard about. Yes, 2 of them are sold out. First one, June 25 to 28, Camp Castro's. We are taking people on the backup list for that. Also in July, we have the boys versus girls trip. Both of those boats are sold out, but we are taking people on the backup. July 17th. And the latest ad you guys have been asking for is a 2.5-day trip. That's on the Pacifica in September. That's the 25th through the 28th. And that pricing is $680. I think that's going to be a great trip.
Food included?
Food?
Yes.
Food's included.
Food, Mexican permits.
Do you need a passport? Yes. You need a passport. You should have one anyways. Who's a new member here? Right here. Why don't you tell us where you're from, how you heard about us, and your fishing, what you like to fish from.
My name is Gary Sachs. I was told about this by Kelly. I went fishing 2 weeks ago and she told me to come.
Oh, perfect.
And I go out of San Diego, I don't know, anywhere from 1 to 10 days.
1 to 10 days. All right, we got a long range fisherman.
Welcome.
Who else? I saw some new faces. Any other newcomers here? In the back here. We got a fresh one.
Don, heard about you guys through Angler Chronicles. Saw an ad on Facebook. Yeah, it's working.
What's that?
Speaking of Angler Chronicles, our guest speaker tonight is Angler Chronicles. Who else is new? So something I wanted to ask everybody is we're open to your suggestions on how we can grow the club. I want you to think about how we can get more people here. You can come see Ron, myself, or Rose later and give us ideas on that. We're open to what else we can do for you, what you'd like to see at these meetings. If you have any ideas for guest speakers, sometimes we dry out and we don't want to keep asking the same people over and over. But we are thankful to have great supporters of the club, like Angler Chronicles, who are filling in as a last-minute speaker tonight. We had a last-minute dropout, so we thank them again and for supporting us over the years.
What did he say?
What did I say?
Romero getting smart over there? What the fuck?
Yeah.
So,
What's up, dude?
want Ron to talk. What else do we have going? I want to mention this custom rod we're giving away at the end of the year. It is an 800M. It has our SoCal Sport Fishing Club logo on it. Has a tiger wrap done by JT over at Fishing Syndicate. JT. And the details of how you get this done are on our club page. But it's basically you just need to post your pictures and tag SoCal Sport Fishing Club in those. And we'll find the tags and get you entered. Every entry you do gets you entry in the raffle. And this is that rod. You'd be yours. We haven't seen too many. Fred Hall was a good time. You can be taking pictures and posting the club and tagging the club. As simple as that. I know a lot of people took pictures and tag us, put it online, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and you'll get entered into that. Come up and see that rod. We have plenty of rods we're raffling out tonight. I know these have been brought.
Ben's rod, not mine.
Ben's half asleep.
Yeah, no, those are $1,000 each, bros.
Bros. plus they have your DNA on them. That's worth some money.
Where did that come from? That sounds like Ed. over there.
So on our SoCal Blast, in addition to this rod, we also have some second and third play prices with, this rod is gonna be paired up with the 2-speed reel. We have a $100 landing gift certificate and a third place $50 gift certificate. So keep an eye on the Facebook page for the details on that. They're already there, and Ron will be adding more to that as we go. So hopefully you'll see more of your, we will see more of your posts tagging the club. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Angler Chronicles up here. We're going to hear a little bit from Sergio, from Ben.
Yay!
Before they start, if you have to smoke, talk to someone on your table or take a phone call, please do it outside. They're
No
here
smoking here,
on their own time. We're thankful for them, and we want to give them our full attention.
All right, thanks a lot. Can you guys hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ben,
Wow, what is up with Ramiro over
I
there?
don't know.
Dude, I think he's been doing some bumps. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna cast over there.
with jail, I can't.
Ah.
All right, well, listen. First of all, I'm supposed to extend an apology from Ron and Tony. All right, Ron is taking care of his wife. She wasn't feeling very good. And Tony, he's trying to gather everything that we need for this Saturday. So I told him, you know what, we're probably going to talk about rock cod, not trout. So it made sense to give him the time to get set. How many of you guys know about Saturday's event, the kids' event? All right, good. Okay. Looking forward to anybody that wants to come. We'd love to have you. We're expecting, if it doesn't rain, about 750 to 800 kids. Okay, so the whole
Will it
thing.
rain in the morning and good off?
And, you know, if it does rain like last year, it was pouring rain last year.
It was still 250, 300.
I'll be selling umbrellas.
There you go. There you go. All right, so listen up. If you want to volunteer for this weekend, Ron and Tony will probably be there by 5 o'clock in the morning. If you show up 6, 7, you're pretty good. The kids don't start until 9 a.m. They fish from 9 to 12, and then it's open to everybody. The reason we need all the volunteers is the parents really can't do it for them. It's for kids only. So you guys will be going around the lake. We got Team 57. Some of your guys here at SoCal Sport Fishing will be there. I know Paul with Huntington Harbor Rod and Reel. What am I missing? Some of the guys from Western Species. What's that? Casey Anglers will be there. So the more the merrier. We have 750 to 800 kids.
Tony G, you there?
Oh,
Attaboy.
oh, Tony G's there early.
And the location, Sergio?
The location is Miles Square Park. It's right off the 405 in Brookhurst, okay, and you just travel a little north. Yeah.
I think I heard you say something about eating mackerel too.
Yeah, if you got mackerel, bring it. Because what we do is we cut mackerel. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, don't forget, if you're coming to cut mackerel, don't forget to bring your knife, and if you have an extra one, bring the extra knife too.
Yeah, bring it. Yeah. Okay. So what they do is very early, the first crew gets there. They start cutting up the mackerel, and then we have these little styrofoam coffee cups. We fill them up with chunks of mackerel, and we give it to the kids.
And we dump bite on in them.
And they put bite on them as well. All right. So and that will be what they will use for bait. just to give you an idea, last year we started at 9 a.m. We were weighing the first fish at 9:01.
Yep.
Wow. So there's plenty of fish. They're all about this size, okay? But it's for the kids, it's not for us. Lots of fish, mostly catfish. There's also some trout in there. Catfish, it's easier to catch. That's what we want the kids to have their first fish ever. About 60% of the families there, it's their first fish. And you'll see mom and dad, and everybody comes out. So you're looking at about 2,000 to 3,000 people will have easy on Saturday. So the more of you that come out, the better. You'll see a tent area. It'll be where the Angler Chronicles Easy Up is. The sign-ups will be there for the kids. So we need volunteers for everything.
Sergio, as a volunteer, don't forget your pliers, maybe some terminal tackle, a few weights, and a lot of patience. and a net doesn't hurt either, because honestly, when we first walk around, half these kids are rigged wrong. So you're going to be re-rigging, have a pocket full of hooks, your pliers on you, and a net. And those are necessities for the day. Promise you that.
I just send everybody out with one mission. we're all here because we love to fish, right? Tug is a drug, right? Well, we get a chance to pass it on to the next generation. And those kids are everything. So if we get them hooked on fishing, our sport continues. If not, they'll be playing fishing like this. Or with that simulator at By the way, it's not the same.
It is not.
Okay, so this Saturday, Miles Square Park, okay? We're good?
You parking on the outside of the room?
What's
You have
that?
to park outside if you get there.
No, you can park right outside, yeah, outside of the lake, it's right there, you can park. We're working on possibly getting free parking. Last year we had free parking.
Yeah.
Okay, there might be even free parking for that particular day, because they do expect a lot of people. You may also run into Supervisor Andrew Doe, and possibly the Senator Janet Wynn, okay? Yeah.
Do we need to bring like fishing poles or?
No, unless you wanna fish, after 12 when it's done, if you guys wanna fish, a lot of guys stay there and fish.
Don't forget your license, because they
Yeah,
do
oh,
ding
you
you.
must have
I
a
promise you.
license. We had one of our guys get busted, 'cause he was
So, just hooks?
yeah, bring some hooks, like you said.
They're pretty much fly lining the bait
Yeah.
anyway. The mackerel chunks are enough weight, so, size 1, size 2 hooks and
A net
pliers.
and pliers, I think, are your best bet. Something you put in your pocket to re-rig these kids, okay? And remember, most of the parents don't have a clue. Right, they just,
President Trump, I'm here.
All right, so Ron said, Ron and Tony will be there early. We'll do the radio show and then we'll show up, okay?
No,
For all
he'll
the vol-
show up.
I'll
He'll
show-
show up for sure.
Yeah, I'll be there, okay? We're done. But for all the volunteers, Carter de Teresa is providing chicken and sausages.
Awesome stuff.
So, yeah, we'll have some good stuff there. The kids, they get a free lunch, but it's hot dogs.
Yeah, they had hot dogs.
Yeah.
Me and Kenny.
We don't have to do it, well, we might have to cook them, but they provide them.
Yeah, they provided, but we and Kenny cooked up about.
We provided
at least,
last year.
yeah,
Yeah.
at least about 300
Ron
Ron said they didn't need cooks this year.
1,000 hot dogs we bought last year. We only had 250 kids.
I know Dino Dan offered to cook, and Ron said they had to handle the cooking this year, so they must have that handled.
Kenny likes to cook it.
I don't think they said Kenny was doing it though. I thought they said somebody else.
We'll see what happens.
Who knows? As long as they got somebody handled it.
All right, so we want to make this short and sweet for you. We were asked to stand in because you guys want to talk about Rock Cod. Okay, that's kind of what's going on. But we'll do how we like to fish it, and then if you guys want to ask any questions of what else is going on, tons of bluefin. But we can talk about that. Yellowtail. But we can talk about that.
I'm sorry, Lori Heath isn't here, so she won't be able to tell you about all the tuna that are being caught. I'm kidding. I'm kidding!
All right, you know that was videotaped. She's gonna see it now.
Sorry, Lori. You hate me say it. I love you, Lori.
Sorry, not sorry.
The only thing I would tell you, a lot of guys, I saw you guys talk day and a half out of San Diego. The biggest problem that they're having, they are going to Colonette, going rock fishing. The problem is the tuna show
Well,
up.
they're catching them right outside. There's a school of fish right now that the guys are looking at with a plane that's 2 miles wide and 6 miles long.
Nine.
Well,
Adrian said
it
nine.
was the other day, I was talking to Adrian, it was 2 and 6, so he's changing his, but that's a lot of fish. When you think of metric tons, and I asked him how big the fish were, and he goes, they're 200 pounds
Yeah.
plus.
Wow.
So when they hit here, it's probably been like 5 years since I live in front of Dana Point, so I would run out from Dana Point after work, get my limit and go in, and I caught 100-pounders in front of Dana Point. So if those fish are coming, and let's say they just get into between like San Diego and Newport, oh, it's gonna be a ball.
Guys, think about 6 to 9 miles by 2 miles.
Yeah.
And they're moving. The smallest fish, Adrian said, the smallest one was about 80 or 90
Yeah.
pounds. And he says there was fish, you didn't even want to guess how big they were.
So before we
coming up.
start rock cod fishing or talking about that, plan of attack, 65. Don't go out there and fish 40, right? So you're gonna fish 65, you'll have a 65 and an 80, maybe a 50, 40 on the 50, we're braiding it. 65, you're gonna fish 50 probably, I'm talking florals, all circle hooks. But the thing that those things are gonna want more than anything are live trolled mackerel. So if you get to go on your buddies' skiffs, Slow trolling mackerel way back from way behind the skiff, it's like killer. It works every time. So everybody's gonna go, the fish are foaming. They'll come up and blow around. When they blow around, what I do is I come up to where I see them, I throw a mackerel out the back of the boat, I turn around and run around the fish, and then I stop over here and I put the reel in, just put the reel barely in gear so I can get it going, and then I just pull back and stick my thumb on it and troll right through the middle. Oh my God. The blow-ups are crazy. So just be ready, it's gonna happen.
We actually explained that on the Secrest episode. Remember, Ron was getting a yellowtail. But no, most of you guys are gonna go on a party boat. Take your Rock Cod, but if you've got that one rod for tuna, take it with you. Even if you don't use it, you gotta have it.
Most of the Rock Cod stuff I use, you can use for tuna.
Yeah,
It's just back and forth. So all you're gonna do is change your leaders,
that's it.
and hooks.
Okay, and they're getting limits of yellowtail, by the way.
Yeah.
And good quality size yellow, 20 to 30 pound yellow. Okay, and that's not what they want. They want the bluefin. All right. So, is there any question about that before we go into the Rock Cod thing?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what's up?
When we're kicking it in gear, how slow are you going, and you got a swivel on
Kick
that
it
gear?
in and out of gear, and I don't have a swivel on anything. You could
So you
use a
get no
swivel on
spin
it.
on that?
Huh?
You don't get a spin on your mackerel?
No,
No.
not if you go slow enough.
No,
So-
you're gonna get spin if the mackerel dies. He'll spin.
So barely.
But if you really wanna like do something that's sort of cool, what I do for marlin fishing, I open up my hooks and I stick a swivel right on the hook, and then I close them and pinch them back down. And that's been going on for like 25 years, and I still show it to people, and they go, "That's a sensational idea." I'm like, it's been around since. So if you want that, but I never have a problem with the spin, and if I do, usually I hook a fish or fight a fish, and then I put the line behind the boat, straighten the line back out, wind it back on. The key to everything you're doing is make sure your line's tight on your spool. Okay, I got home from Fiji, and I was laughing at the guys in front of the boat, because as soon as they'd see the fish, they'd run to the front of the boat. Well, I tightened my line on everything as we were going out. I just put the line behind the boat, put it real tight between my fingers, get on the spool, everybody backlash, Ben's the first one on, just laughing at him, going, and they go, "How do you do it?" I go, "It's magic." You want tight line on everything that you throw. You don't want anything that's gonna throw a loop. So that's just the same with these things as they come. Remember, every time, it's almost like boxing. You gotta come back to where you started. It's the same thing. Tight line, go through, make sure that you got everything tight if you're casting. For slow trolling fish, they don't like boats. You don't want to go so fast that you're going to kill it. Sometimes you can drift, right? If the drift's good enough, get the mackerel behind the boat and just drift. Balloons and that stuff, I don't know. I don't like balloons. I don't like floats for the bluefin. They're sort of sketchy animals. Like, I was in the middle of them a few years back, and they would not bite anything no matter what. And I was laughing at these guys fishing balloons for them. I was like, oh my God, they won't even touch the floor, and you guys got balloons up. That's where the kite comes in. They can see the line if you can get the kite up, or you got a little helium balloon for outside here. Get the helium balloon up, you can catch them doing that too. So.
But here's what I'm going to tell you guys. These fish are bigger. Every season they're getting bigger and bigger. So this is not like going out and catching a 30 or 40 pounder. When you catch a fish that small, you get forgiven for some of your mistakes. Okay, so no swivels. The least amount of knots, the better. That way you have one knot to get your spectra to your fluorocarbon, another knot to your hook, and that's it. Knots are always your weakest point. Practice your knots.
The other thing to remember too is that I've said this before to this club, and you guys probably don't remember, I'll be new again. A 200-pound bluefin's about this big, okay? He's this big. How far is it to his stomach? That far, right? Think about it. So guys use these leaders, and they can't get the knots outside the guides. They try to cast the knot. They get fluffed. They do all this stuff. Use short trace leaders that you can cast. So learn how to tie a pena, San Diego, whatever you want to tie for the braid to the floral. It's the most important thing you can do. The next thing you do is make sure that your circle hooks have some sort of offset with the point and the shank. So that means that most of them are offset, so that the point of the hook is going to be the first thing that grabs the fish. Guys will ask me about sword fishing. They'll go, hey, we use a 9176. But when they use a 9176, the point of the hook is the same with the eye. What happens? If I pull through this just follows it, right? Because the point of the hook's down, right? So I'm just giving you an idea. Any hooks that you see are like that, offset them. Put them in your vise at home, offset them so they're off, and when it's offset, it will always grab something. I swear to you, it happens every time. So just, these are small little things that I'm talking about.
But it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I've caught 3 swords on the surface, right? I've been lucky. I baited like maybe 10, I caught 3. These guys catching them deep dropping, they're losing them because they're not paying attention to the hooks. So the hooks are really key, critical stuff. So
Be prepared. What's your P's? Tell me your P's.
prior planning prevents piss poor performance. I say it to my kids all the time. Summer's a nightmare now. I'm on the boat, I got this, I got that, I got this. I'm like, okay, we're ready to go. So
You be very, very prepared. If you're gonna go, have one set up, ready to go. Make sure your fluorocarbon is good. If you use the fluorocarbon, that's from the last trip, it's no good.
cut
Okay,
it off.
change it. You're only talking about this much, okay?
Yeah.
You don't need more than that, okay?
Especially with circle hooks. You don't need them with circle hooks, you don't need any
Don't
more.
set, okay, circle hooks. I see a lot of people missing the fish because you wanna set the hook. Circle hooks you don't set. Basically what you do, I point the rod, it's on, he's running, I just put it in gear and it just tightens up, and then all I do is lift up my rod. I let the force of the fish pull that hook to where it's gotta be.
If he's running away from you.
Yeah, what's that?
If he's running away from you.
If he's running away, yeah,
If he's running at you, you've got a lot of things to think about.
Yeah. Chances are he's not gonna be running towards you, but yeah, he does sometimes. Okay, so, just be prepared. A lot of heartbreak on they had 33 bluefin on the Pacific Queen, and they could have had 100 of them, okay? They had the wrong gear primarily, and they were big fish. They were what, 90 to 100?
Yeah, so what he said right there, the first thing I think of, if they talk a fish like that, start up. See if they'll eat 60, see if they'll eat 80, right? Start at the top of the chain. Go as heavy as you can go to see them. If they eat 80, you can catch a 200-pounder on 80 for sure on. But if they don't, it's like a while ago when I was chasing them out here when they first showed up, they're only gonna eat 30. I threw 40 at them, they're only gonna eat 30. I don't wanna fish 30. 2 hours on 30 when the line breaks, it's your fault.
And
So-
remember, even though you went from 80 to 30, you still only need one rod. You just changed the leader, okay? Just remember, when you go from 80 to 30, you need to readjust your drag. Your drag is not the 65 or 80 pound spectra. It's whatever leader you're using. So if you use 30, you gotta bring it down to 30. You guys, is that, it
30
seems
to,
obvious,
30
but
to
people
break
forget.
10 pounds of drag at 30. If you want to go a quarter, then you go 8. So whatever's more comfortable.
And if you don't know, ask a deckhand, ask the captain. Most of those guys are good at, if you don't have the machine to actually set it, that's the way to do it. So make sure that's something, because these fish are gonna be fish of a lifetime. You think it'll be above a 400 this year?
Oh, there'll be 4. There was 400 took last year, and none of them were landed.
They landed several 3s. I'd like to see some of the 4s come up. You gotta be ready.
Actually, someone hooked a big fish like a couple weeks ago, and it was one of the guys that like
But
in
what
my
did he
little
say?
plate.
He hooked it.
And he said it never
Never
slowed
stopped.
down. It just went, and it was gone. Spooled him. The reel got hot. Both plates on the reel got hot. He was just like, don't know what to do. I've had it happen to me where you're just like, okay, this one's gone. All your line's gone. You know, you tighten it up, it pops it. You know, the best thing if you know that you have one like that is to give it a couple clicks and let him break it off midway, because otherwise he's going to have another 200 yards behind him.
Yeah.
So he's going to die anyways. He's going to be a mud dart for
So
sure.
So do this, be prepared. Go rock fishing, but take a tuna rod just in case. And take a heavy one. These fish are bigger, they're not the 30, 40 pounders. The small ones are 80 to 100. Those are the small ones. They're averaging, I think, 120 to 150 pounds. with a lot of 200s and 300s mixed in.
And the good news is that the Mexican fleet has already met their quota a month ago. So the fish that are coming up here are gonna be all ours.
Yeah, they can't touch them, they can't, you know, I don't even think, they might be too big for the seiners that we have up here, too. They don't like that size.
I don't know, but usually the thing I always see is every year about this time I start fishing the 9 Mile bank and I'll see the seiners out there at the 9 Mile bank. Wherever you see the seiners, if you're in private skiffs, go to the
Yeah, go to
seiners,
the
because
seiners.
stuff's gonna happen somewhere or another, and you'll find it. But
We
if
didn't
you're
tell
in
you
a-
to do that, okay?
Yeah, it's a good thing to do, because last year I got limits off the seiners for like 2 or 3 weeks straight.
All right, any more questions about some of the pelagics? Yeah, go
Are
ahead.
the baits still small though this year?
Not if you're using a mackerel.
Well,
Yeah, so this, okay, so bait, one of the things they saw earlier, you guys know Rick Scott on the Ocean Odyssey?
Yes.
Yeah, he was out there and, he saw tons of fish foaming, boiling on the surface. But they threw all the most beautiful sardines that he wanted. They were on very small.
Yeah,
bait.
they're eating eyeballs and tails.
So what I would recommend
It's like albacore fishing.
is, I just saw it, Shimano, no, the other one.
Cold sniper.
The Cold Sniper. They came out with a 42 gram, I think, it's about that big. And just get the one that's black and silver. And it matches pretty much what they're eating. And just throw it.
And Bobby Martinez has another thing that's out that's like it's a underspin with a big treble in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And that thing will catch them. But I'd get a few of those because I think those things will go
But
away
here's the
quick.
problem. If you get one of those, anything that you get that's small, you have to change the hook. Those things are made for trout, okay? And we were throwing it for tuna. They will bend it. And don't waste your time with a 2X or a 3X strong. Go straight to the 4X strong. Now, it may change it. The metal ones, don't worry about how it swims. It's not gonna matter, okay? So just put on a solid hook, not too big. They will be bigger than normal. And just hold on.
Yeah, 2/0, 3/0 on those small ones.
That's fine.
3/0's big, 2/0's pretty good. So just remember it's a 3X, 4X because you can't get 4X in the little ones sometimes. So the other thing is, the most important thing to change is the split ring, because the split ring will be way lighter. And when you get your lure back and there's nothing on the back of it, you'll understand that the split ring was too light.
All right, and I know Owner, Gamagotchi, they all have the split ring upgrade and the hook. Now here's I don't know if I do it for the tuna, but some of the smaller, the yellowtail. What I like is, I like changing the treble hooks on my surface irons, but I leave the old swivel. Then I put the swivel to that swivel and then my hook.
So he's
And
got
now-
the soldered ring.
Right, so what I do, what happens now is my treble will turn. Okay, because if you get in the mouth and start fighting the fish, there's a point where it gets stuck, all right? So that it can break. With enough force, you're pulling one way, the fish is pulling the other, it'll break. However, this gives you more give. I learned that from Mark Higashi at Performance Tackle. We go fishing at Cedros. So change your hooks, extremely important. Okay, this is not time for cheap hooks. The reason I stress this, a lot of my friends have gone out and they come home and they're heartbroken. And I go, what did you fish it with? Oh, my 400. You don't have enough line. You don't have enough anything, okay? So if you have that reel, now, if you don't have something like that, just about every landing will rent them for you. 10, 15 bucks, don't drink 2 beers, but have it in your arsenal in case you need it, okay? Well, yeah,
Let's drink 2 beers. Hang out with Romero, man. He's gonna have all the stuff you need.
Oh, there you go. But anyway, really important because the fishing's gonna heat up here real quick. We'll be fishing for rockfish, and next thing you know, we're gonna have some
So
crazy
the
fish.
weirdest thing that happened last year is in December, we were fishing rockfish off of Polgus, and the bluefin came into the rockfish grounds at 200 feet. So I was tripping out. So everybody's like, so what are you doing? The next day I went out and targeted those bluefins, and they went down to Oceanside and I caught one, right? So they'll bite if you focus on them. Don't try to, maybe they'll bite this. Just go out and be prepared for it, But we caught one end of December, and I caught one the first week of January. So those fish are around. So know that when you see them, if they're in an area and they've been here for a while, they're gonna bite. So.
All right, so anyway, we're all concentrating on rockfish, but they're there, so be prepared. All right, so what we're gonna do is, oh, you got a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, would you still take that stuff even up to like Ventura? Say if I'm going next
No.
week?
No, Ventura's not seeing that.
Go down the other way.
Go white
Now,
sea bass
Oh,
fishing.
hold on, yeah, that's what's happening in Ventura.
It's already biting.
Yeah.
So
White
the
sea bass.
5/8 hookup baits,
The red one.
red
You like
crab.
the
Yeah,
red
there's a
one?
new red crab one. That one's gonna be on
You got a
fire
red
up
crab
there.
one?
I didn't bring any.
Okay.
Maybe in that bag.
I already used his setup, so.
Yeah.
Well, you do the double, I do the single.
No, but
I use
with the
big
white
swivel.
sea bass, fishing, you only want one on. And up
You-
there,
you
you
know
only
how
want
I
a
like
5/8.
you know I like to use the big one, don't use that one, they want the 1.5. They want a little
No,
bit
no
smaller.
dongers.
Yeah, that's what I call it, schlongs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, but they popped up. They popped up. Also, nobody's talking until now. They're catching them at Catalina. There's a lot of live squid at Catalina. Where there's live squid, there's white sea bass in the winter and yellowtail as well. Okay, they're catching yellows and white sea. Problem is, they're private boaters. So
That's
they're-
not a problem. Come on.
Well, they're not talking. Nobody talks.
Exactly.
Nobody talks. So, a lot of the big boats, think about it, they gotta get a lot of fish. You go out with me, say on the center console, we get 3 or 4 yellowtails, we had a great day. 3 or 4 yellowtail among 30 people, that's not a big good day. So they gotta concentrate on putting a lot of fish on the boat. They're gonna take you rock fishing, but have a rod always that you can change up and do something crazy. All right, why don't you start? So he's gonna show you the setups he likes, and then I'm gonna take you old school.
Tony G! Get everybody quiet down, man. You're the sergeant at arms.
Oh, I tell you.
Hey, just remember, I came up here from San Clemente to give you guys a favor for us to just talk. So give us some respect, and I will give you all the respect I got. Is that right?
You guys got the slack, not me this time. I love it. All right, so he's gonna go through what he likes, and I'm gonna tell you some old school. I started doing this last year. I loved it. We're gonna go back in time. That's how I'm fishing the rockfish now, and you'll see.
You wanna talk linen line?
Huh?
Romero, dude, how many, what did you have, a gram or just a few bombs? What's up?
Hey, you're not alpha, Romero, okay?
Oh, leave him alone, leave him alone.
All
right, so this is basic stuff, guys. I've talked about this before, I think. I'm sure I have, for sure, but the thing that trips me out is I get on the boats and everybody has this huge tackle to go rock cod fishing still. You don't need it. Like, I'm gonna show you some new stuff that Chad came up with some new baits that are gonna work really good. But in the past, what I use a lot is I use a 300 Valiant, and I use this iRod. It's like a 805 iRod that I'm using. It's just a trigger stick. But if you